I'm 78 years old now, and there are mornings when I wake up already tired, not from sleep, but from memory. I sit on the edge of the bed and feel the weight of years pressing down, not all at once, just enough to remind me that most of it is behind me. When I think about what I wish I'd known before 60, it isn't wisdom in the grand sense. It's smaller than that, quieter. It's about the things I assumed I'd get around to. At this age, time doesn't stretch anymore. It gathers. It piles up behind you. You can hear it when the house is quiet, when the refrigerator hums, and there's no one else breathing in the room. I didn't expect life to feel this narrow at the end. Not painful, exactly, just reduced, like the world slowly turned the volume down without asking me. Before 60, I thought I was still in the middle. I didn't feel old, I felt established. I told myself I'd earned the right to slow down later, that there would be a cleaner chapter where things made sense. I believed that because I needed to. It made the long hours and missed moments feel temporary. I didn't realize temporary has a way of becoming permanent. In my 20s and 30s, I wasn't reckless or cruel. I was careful. That was the problem. I made reasonable choices. I worked hard. I showed up. I paid bills. I said no to things that felt indulgent. I said yes to responsibility. People trusted me. I liked that. Being dependable felt like proof that I was doing life correctly. I married young. Not too young, just early enough that we grew up side by side instead of together. She was patient with me. I didn't see that then. I thought patience was just part of who she was, like her brown eyes or the way she folded towels. I didn't understand it was something she was spending. I told myself I was building something for us. That's what I said whenever work pulled me away, whenever I came home late, whenever I brought stress through the door instead of warmth. I thought love was stable, like a foundation. I didn't know it needed attention the way a fire does, or it quietly goes out. I wish I'd known that nothing important asks loudly for your time. It waits, and if you don't notice it, it fades without complaint. In my 40s, life sped up. Careers do that. So do children. Days blurred together. I remember routines more than moments. Car keys, meetings, groceries. The constant sense of being needed everywhere except where I was standing. I thought that feeling meant I mattered. I missed things I can't name precisely now. Not events, but moods. The feeling in the house before bedtime. The sound of my kids' voices before they changed. The way my wife used to look at me when I came through the door before she learned not to expect much. I was there, but not really there. I didn't know that counted as absence. No one tells you that relationships don't end all at once. They thin out, they wear down, they become polite. You don't notice because there's no explosion, no clear point of failure. Just fewer conversations, less eye contact, longer silences that stop feeling awkward and start feeling normal. By the time I noticed something was wrong, I was tired. Not tired enough to change, just tired enough to accept things as they were. I thought that was maturity. I thought peace meant not asking for more. I wish I'd known that comfort can be a kind of surrender. Before 60, I believed health was a background feature, something you only think about when it's gone. I treated my body like a tool. If it worked, I ignored it. If it hurt, I pushed through. Rest felt like weakness. Doctors were something you visited later. Later comes fast. It starts with small things. A knee that doesn't bounce back. A back that tightens for no clear reason. A morning when you realize you didn't sleep well and that it matters now. I told myself everyone my age felt like that. And they did. That didn't make it harmless. I wish I'd known that your body keeps records even when you don't. It remembers every time you didn't listen. Friendships surprised me the most. I assumed the strong ones would always be there, waiting like furniture you leave in storage. We didn't fight. We didn't fall out. We just stopped calling. Life got busy, then quieter, then separate. One day you realize you don't know who you'd call with good news, or bad news, or no news at all. I told myself I wasn't the kind of man who needed a lot of friends. I was wrong. I just didn't want to admit how much effort it takes to keep people close. Effort feels optional until you feel alone. Before 60, I thought loneliness was dramatic, something that happened to people who didn't try. I didn't understand it could happen quietly, even in a full house, even in a marriage, even in a life that looks complete from the outside. The turning point came later than I'd like to admit. For me, it was illness. Not sudden, not cinematic, just a diagnosis that rearranged the future. Sitting in a small room, listening to a doctor explain things in calm sentences, I felt something shift. Not fear, clarity. I realized I had been living as if time was generous, as if it would keep extending itself in response to good behavior. It doesn't. It's fixed. You just don't know the number. Recovery gave me time to think. Too much, maybe. I looked at my life honestly for the first time, not with judgment, but with inventory. What I had, what I'd let slip, what I'd postponed so long it no longer existed. My wife and I were polite by then, kind even, but the closeness was gone. We had shared history, not shared presence. When she passed a few years later, I grieved deeply, but I also grieved something older. The version of us we never protected. That's something I wish I'd known before 60. Grief doesn't only come from death. It comes from realizing what will never happen now. There are conversations you don't get to have twice, apologies that expire, affection that has a window. After retirement, the days opened up in a way I once dreamed about, and then I didn't know what to do with them. Work had given my days shape. Without it, I saw how little I'd built outside of obligation. I filled time at first. Chores, television, long walks that didn't go anywhere. People assume free time feels like freedom. Sometimes it just feels empty. I don't regret working. I regret believing it was enough. If you're listening to this and you're younger, I won't tell you to slow down or cherish every moment. That advice never lands. I'll just say this: pay attention to what you keep delaying. Ask yourself why. Be honest about the cost, because the bill comes due later when payment options are limited. I wish I'd known that being needed isn't the same as being loved, that praise isn't the same as connection, that success can be real and still leave you hollow. I wish I'd known that saying someday is often a way of saying never without having to feel guilty about it. These days, my life is small, but it's clear. I drink my coffee slowly. I notice the light through the window. I think about people I haven't seen in years and hope they're well. Some days are peaceful, some days are heavy. Acceptance isn't a warm feeling, it's a quiet one. If any of this meant something to you, maybe just sit with it for a moment. You don't have to fix anything tonight, just notice what matters while it's still close enough to touch. That's all I really wish I'd known. Subscribe us. Thanks for watching.